The meeting is now being recorded, but not yet called to order. Call to order in a second here. Just waiting for the Facebook live stream to get going. Should be streaming. And yes, we're live on Facebook as well. Okay, welcome everyone to the October meeting of the Carmel Mountain Ranch Sabre Springs Community Council. I am your chairperson, Eric Edelman, and we will start with introduction of board members as soon as I can find the participant window again. Where'd it go? Zoom did some updating recently, and
Eric, I sent you a list of names in the chat so you can just read them off and everybody could say yay or nay.
Okay, I got a bunch of people to, I got a bunch of people in a waiting room here that I need to admit now. I used to be able to just let everybody join without this silly waiting room thing, but now we've all got, Zoom has stuck me with this waiting room issue. So that means I got to watch that the whole time to make sure nobody's knocking on the door. Thank you, Zoom. Here are all the names in alphabetical order. Thank you, Esther. That's helpful.
You're welcome.
All right. Okay, so we're called to order, and let's do roll call here. I am Eric Edelman, business representative and resident of Carmel Mountain Ranch. Esther, I heard you there.
Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna unmute myself since I'm gonna be typing so you don't hear clickety clackety the whole time.
Okay.
All right, if I have to say something, I'll message you.
Okay, I'll try and keep an eye on it.
And before you start, because I know everybody knows everybody, but it would be really helpful while I'm typing, anybody who's gonna speak, say your full name, first and last name, before you start speaking. So this, I could just type it. I don't have to look up last names later or whatever. I mean, I have the list and all that, but okay. Yeah. So that would be really helpful too. Everybody should speak first and last name clearly. Yes. Thank you. All right, I'm out. Okay. I mean, I'm here, but I'm muting. Bye.
Understood. Kurt Carlson.
Kurt Carlson, homeowner.
Is John Chu present? Anybody see John in here? I'm looking for him. I don't see him. John, if you're present, you can say so in the chat. And Mark Clark. I think I saw. I think this might be Mark.
Hello.
Mark, is that you?
This is Mark.
Okay, cool.
This is me.
Introduce yourself, please.
Yes, Mark Clark, homeowner, Walden.
Cool, thank you. Silva and Majid, are you there?
Yes, we are here.
Okay.
I'm Majid Mushirian, homeowner, and Silva is downstairs. She's coming up.
Okay,
Silva Solehi, homeowner.
Thank you.
I'm
Michelle?
here. Hi.
Hi, Silva.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome. Michelle Mullen,
Jim Mullen, homeowner.
thank you. John Schroeder,
Yes, good evening, everyone. John Schroeder. I'm a homeowner in Carmel Mountain Ranch.
okay. Dan Thompson, are you here? I don't see Dan. If anybody sees Dan, let me know, or Dan, if you're here, chat me and we'll get you registered. Joseph Valencia,
Joe Valencia, homeowner.
thank you, Joe. Ryan Yamasaki. Oh, I'm gonna ask you to unmute.
Ryan Yamasaki, homeowner.
Thank you. Okay. I'm pretty sure we're only missing one, or I think we were missing two, so we're looking good. So I need a motion to approve tonight's agenda, please.
I'll make that motion.
John Schroeder made a motion to approve the agenda. And
Second it.
okay, Rich said it first, Kurt. So Rich Kreggy seconds the motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? All right, so all members present have approved tonight's agenda. The minutes for last month's meeting were not distributed by me, so we don't have those to approve. I do have a YouTube link to last month's meeting. If anybody wants it, it's available upon request, and we'll get those minutes typed up, or they're already typed up. Esther sent them to me and I just didn't get them out to you folks. So we will, oh boy, I got more people in the waiting room now. Thank you, Zoom. We'll get those out and we'll do a double approval next month. And again, the YouTube link is available, the actual recording, which is even better than the minutes. Mark, Mal, please get the campaign sign down. I will ban anyone from this meeting who posts any campaign sign. Thank you. Ugh. We know that's against the rules. Please don't test it tonight. Just not in the mood. Sorry, distraction. All right, so where does that leave us? Introduction of board members, minutes, okay, that's approved. All right, so it's time for public comment. Anybody have a non-agenda public comment? Mark, Mal, you're giving me a whole bunch of stuff in the chat here, which I can't really look at because I'm running the meeting. If you've got public comment that's not part of the agenda, you can have your 3 minutes. Just let me know. Okay, I have, okay, Marnie von Wilpert is in the meeting. Welcome, Marnie. I am going to unmute you.
Thank you. Perfect. Hi, Eric. Thanks for hosting.
Sure.
Hi, everyone. My name is Marnie von Wilpert. I know many of you know me. I'm running for San Diego City Council. I'm on our ballot, and the next 20 days is November 3rd election day. And I'm excited to see everyone here. You know, I live in Scripps Ranch. It's actually where I grew up. I'm coming up on my 20th high school reunion for Scripps Ranch High School. And I'm running into a lot of my old classmates in the district, but I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad that we can talk because I've been hearing a lot this weekend about some misinformation about my campaign, that some flyers were handed out about a community group in Rancho or Carl Mountain supporting my opponent. It turns out those are ads that say paid for by Leventhal for City Council. So they're not, we were worried that a 501c3 was taking a political position, but it turns out it's not. Those are actually campaign ads paid for by my opponent, which is fine. That's what we're allowed to do, and that's why we have disclosures. But while I'm a little worried that my opponent is skirting a recusal here by trying to take too many positions against the Carl Mountain Golf Course proposal, I, on the other hand, want to stay in a position to remain strong and stand up for our community the whole time and make sure that we hold developers accountable to actually give us projects that benefit our community. You know, I've heard from a lot of concerns about the project in Carmel Mountain about fire safety, and I agree. Making sure we have enough schools, classrooms, our traffic is already a problem. We need to fix that regardless. And I agree with a lot of those concerns, as well as preserving open space. I'm endorsed by Sierra Club. It's very important to me. So it doesn't mean that we should take a position, because then I can't stand up for this community on city council. So I'm willing to work with everyone and make sure that everyone's voice is heard. And I'm glad people are reaching out to me. But I have a broader vision for housing in the city, and I'd be happy to share it. I know I have 3 minutes, so I'll be quick. I believe that we need to be building around more transit hubs and more closer to job centers, especially for young college graduates and professionals, our teachers, our firefighters, our police, our deputy city attorneys, like I am. I work in the public sector. We need to be able to afford homes that are, you know, closer to job centers or closer to transit. I don't want to increase traffic in the city. I also want to protect us from wildfires. My parents almost lost their home in the Cedar Fire in Scripps Ranch, and I'm very proud the firefighters have endorsed me for this race and think I will do the best job protecting our communities. I want to make sure that we have adequate 911 and first responder response. I work with our law enforcement every day as a deputy city attorney, and I want to make sure that Northeastern Division in particular, which I saw Julie, our officer Dredd on here, I know we have the fewest officers of any part in the city. I want to alleviate their burden and make sure they don't have to go to every mental health call and every addiction call, and they can actually do policing that they were intended to do, and that'll free up their time for us. So I'm very excited to be here. I am one of only 2 candidates citywide who has experience at City Hall. And that's going to be a big deal when we have 5 new city council members. I will be able to hit the ground running from day 1 and get District 5 the representation it needs. I've been endorsed by both Barbara Bree and Todd Gloria. So whoever becomes mayor, I will be able to represent us well. So thanks everyone. And if you have questions about my positions on anything, my website is marnieforsandiego.com. Really happy to be here and happy to see you. And thanks for your service to community.
Thank you for being here, Marnie. We appreciate it. And just to be clear, CMRSSCC as a body cannot endorse any political candidate. And Joe Leventhal was at last month's meeting, and he was allowed to introduce himself in much the same manner that Marnie von Wilpert just was. So that's, you know, equal time as far as that goes. And this board, as a board, does not endorse any political candidate. And as individuals, we do what we do. So thank you for being here. We really appreciate it, and your service to the city. So thank you. Any other non-agenda public comment? I see none. So, oh yes, okay, Mark Mal has, I will unmute you. Mark, you're unmuted and you have 3 minutes.
All right, we have some Barbara Bree signs in. If anybody needed some signs for Barbara Bree, I have it in my home. So just come over and pick it up on the left side of my garage. Also, we're going to have some Joe Leventhal signs if anybody wants. Just let me know if you need it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Any other non-agenda public comment, please? I'm watching the chat. I'm trying to watch this silly waiting room. I can't say it enough. I don't like this new feature on Zoom. I wish we could just everybody join. I understand what they're doing, but it makes my life a little harder. That's all right. I can deal with it. Okay, so there being no more Kurt, you have a question that's non-agenda related? Okay. All right.
So I guess my question is for Marnie, and I'm wondering how familiar she is with the Trails project being proposed by New Urban West, and what she thinks of that based on how it's been going through the community process.
I'm not sure she can answer that, but I'll unmute her and let her try.
Yeah, no, of course. And Kurt, great question. I'm very aware of the Trails project, and I've been following all the community meetings. I actually read the report from this group from the last month's meeting. So thank you for putting it out. You know, and as I said earlier, I don't want to skirt a recusal because I want to be able to stand up for this community on every vote. and make sure whatever development project comes in anywhere, we get our voice heard and developers actually build in a way that's beneficial for our community. But in general, I know there's been a CMR United Club. I'd be happy to come. No one has ever invited me to come to the meetings, and they're private Zoom links, so I couldn't get in. I found out afterwards, but that doesn't mean I'm not paying attention. I just wasn't invited. And I'd be happy to go, honestly. But for my concern for the project right now is especially fire safety. You know, it took over an hour and a half to evacuate people from Carmel Mountain Ranch during the 2007 fire in Witch Creek. And I know that, I'm aware of that. So I've been talking to our firefighters about what if we put housing in a certain area here, are we gonna be able to evacuate folks? That's a huge concern of mine. I wouldn't be able to approve any project that didn't have evacuation protocols. I'm really haunted by what happened in the Camp Fire up in Northern California. I don't want anyone to die on the road because we didn't plan well. I'm also hearing from teachers that they're concerned about classroom size. And I've told this to the developers. I've said, these are the concerns I'm hearing from my voters and I'm conveying them to them. So I'm very keenly aware of it. I want to make sure that everyone here stays involved in the process, because that is the key to making sure that we get what we need for our community from any developer and holding them accountable to make sure it's beneficial to us. So Kurt, thanks for being on top of it.
Thank you. Okay. I see John Chu has joined the meeting. So Esther, you can record John Chu is present as a homeowner in Carmel Mountain Ranch. And okay, any other non-agenda items? I don't think so. So I'm going to move on to the neighborhood police report with Officer Julie. Well, she was just here a second ago. There she is. Okay. Oh, Zoom.
There.
Good evening, Officer Dratt.
Okay, sorry. I was trying to make sure I was unmuted.
Yeah,
Good
Zoom keeps moving the boxes around on me. I try and click on you and you jumped away, but that wasn't your fault.
All right, well, good evening. Just a few things, again, with everything going on. There has actually been, so commercial burglaries would be after the business is closed and if someone breaks in and steals something. We have had that happen up in Carmel Mountain. Also, we've had a couple of thefts from the businesses during open hours, unfortunately, in Carmel Mountain. So just, again, be aware of your surroundings. I know the holidays are coming up. So if you go shopping, again, don't leave things in vehicles. And I'm kind of putting this out early because with election being that first week, I'm going to be a little busy at the beginning of November. So just in case I can't make the meetings, I want to put information out. So again, if you're out shopping and if you have more stores to go to, don't put things into your car and then go to another store next door. So just keep that in mind. If you have a lot of items, put them in your car and then park somewhere else. And then get back out and do some more shopping. As well as that, with ballots being mailed, make sure you're checking your mail daily. If for some unforeseen reason, because it has happened in a couple of communities where ballots have been stolen from the mail, if it's from United States Postal Service, you need to please report that to the postal inspector. There is a link, so if that's something that you guys would like for me to email Eric just so he can post on the website, I can do that. Other than that, I will open it up if anyone has any questions for me.
Questions for Officer Dratt? I don't see anybody popping in, Julie. So I think you're clear, and we certainly appreciate you being here, and of course your service to our community. Thank you very much.
And thank you, I appreciate it.
Of course. Anyone from CMR Fire? I don't think we have them here. I need to reconnect with them. It's been a while since we've seen them.
We need to get them into our meetings.
Yeah, they've come before, but not for a few months, and we've obviously been busy. Anybody from Senator Brian Jones' office? State Senator Brian Jones? No. No, Rick from Brian Mainshine's office is here. I see him waving. Makes it easy to find you, Rick. Thank you.
Evening, everybody. Rick Hauptfeld, Office of Assembly Member Brian Mainshine. Just a few things. Hope everybody's well. I only have 4 points tonight. I'll be quick. The legislative session was I don't want to say it was abbreviated, but due to the circumstances that are going on in the state and across the country, legislators weren't able to propose the same number of bills. 4 of the 5 bills that the Assembly member carried to the end of the session have been signed into law, and they focus on a variety of issues, including healthcare, fertility fraud, and protecting our senior populations. And you guys that are regulars at the community council here know that I usually give a presentation on each one. But for the sake of time, if anybody's interested in the details associated with it, I'm happy to provide detailed information. And as soon as I'm done talking, I'll click the chat. You'll have our office phone number and my email address. So if anybody, again, wants to follow up and get more information on those bills, those 4 bills that the Assembly member carried and were signed into law, I'd be happy to provide that. Earlier today, I emailed Eric. Some of you probably know that the census is going to be shortened this year. Tomorrow night at actually 3 a.m. on the 16th of October, the census will end. I sent Eric a link. It is my2020census.gov. Again, my2020census.gov. That is for self-reporting through the website. The email I shared with Eric is that almost 84% of Assembly District 77, that's our district, there's almost an 84% self-reporting rate, which is well above the state and national average, which is fantastic. But the emphasis is that we all get counted. So if you have anybody that hasn't been counted, please have them visit that site. And again, $1.3 trillion worth of federal funding divided across the country is a tremendous amount of money. And we don't want to miss out on those dollars. That's my biggest note tonight. Our office, and probably the office of every single elected official in California, has been fighting for unemployment benefits for their constituents. And our office is no different. 6 of the Assembly members, 10 staff members are devoted full time to helping people with their unemployment benefits. And if you, a neighbor, friend, it doesn't make any difference. Have them call us, have them email us. We have tremendous success. We work extremely hard to try to get people their benefits that they deserve. And if you know anybody, please just have them email me. And like I said, I'm about to put my email and phone number down there in the chat. And on a final note, I wanted to follow up with Kurt. Kurt, did the information that you got from our office and from Mark Schaefer of Mark Kersey's office, was that?
Yes, thank you very much. I got all the information and found out it was not fraudulent. And we're good to go. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay. Yeah, guys, we're here to help. We're a resource. You've heard me say it before. Not enough people reach out. So please encourage your friends, neighbors, whoever, reach out. We're here to help. All right. Eric, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Rick. Please convey our hellos to Brian and Lance and everyone else in your office. And thank you for all the good work that you guys are doing with the EDD and everything else. Let's see. Kristen Gaspar's office, I'm pretty sure we don't have her rep. If I'm wrong, you can say so in the chat, but I don't think that her rep is here. And Mark Schaefer, I think I unmuted you already. Are you there? Maybe not. Thought I unmuted him. Try again. Mark Schaefer.
I'm here.
Awesome. All right, take it away.
Okay, well, first, I'm reporting back from, unfortunately, the Alante project. The council member tried just some of the concerns regarding the parking even there with trying to control the access or the limitation on that. And unfortunately, the city attorney and others refused to look at how to address that for the community. We were able to get 2 council members to agree with Mark on this. In the final vote, unfortunately, it was approved without those changes that the council member wished to include. So I apologize we weren't able to get more on that, but the council member did have his concerns with the project. as presented, and it was unfortunately approved. Also on the code enforcement issues with the golf course, former golf course, I got a communication from code enforcement that they do have the packet ready for the hearing. They do not have a scheduled time for the hearing yet. However, because of the numerous issues that have come in, the golf course owner has hired someone basically to handle anything coming into code enforcement for the future. And because for continuity, and I only have probably one more meeting before I'm out of a job, wanted to share that Joseph Zamello, would be the person, including our office, to continue to contact on any code enforcement, or any code violations kind of related to the maintenance of the golf course. I will post his email and contact information. That was a suggestion from Kim Wallace, is also include him. I'm hoping that they can resolve it sooner, but just in case, wanted to make sure you have that contact information. Other than that, open up to any questions that y'all may have.
Questions for Mark Schaefer? Anyone? I'm watching the chat. I'm also watching the screen. Nobody's waving their arms. Nobody's chatting. Wait.
Oh,
repeat name. Hang on. Kurt, who do you want to repeat their name? Oh, Joe Zamello.
Yeah, is it Joe? Okay, Joe Zamello. Okay.
Yeah, it's in the chat now.
Thank you.
Esther, okay, yeah, Esther, the Joe Zamello is Joe, Joseph, Joseph, that's moving too, geez. Zummello, Zummello, and it's in the chat as well.
And I see the comment there. The issue is that this is an active code case. So to get the response on this, Joe's going to be communicating with the property owner to address any of these continued violations that are going on, whether it's fencing, the brush, other issues. So that's just so that this is not opening up a new case, but this is for the continued maintenance of this case.
Thank you. Numerous issues.
And they'll have it. I will send it to you, even if it's after the last meeting. I will send you to Eric, the hearing date once we get that information.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mark Schaefer? Well, Mark, thank you again for being here. Thank you for being here as many times as you have and helping us in answering questions and getting things done for us. We appreciate you, and send our best to Council Member Kersey as well. And we'll see you sometime soon.
Yes, on to fight another day.
Indeed. Everybody else gets to end their term in November. What's going on with me? Okay, just kidding. I love it, guys. I love it. Mayor Faulkner's office. I'm going to take a wild stab and say they're not here. No sarcasm there at all. San Diego Planning Department. I have received email from Tony, and he stated that there being no action items on our agenda tonight, he would not be here. So at least I'm getting some communication, but attendance is not happening yet. I did talk to the planning department, and Tony, our liaison, or whatever his title is, they're required to be here once every 6 months. And that hasn't happened, but we're working on it. Okay, Congressman Peters? No. Okay, so the subcommittee report on the trails. I'm effectively the acting chairperson of that subcommittee. And we did meet on the 1st, and that meeting it's uploading to YouTube. I actually have the upload paused because I needed the bandwidth to make sure I didn't have any problems with this streaming, but that meeting will be uploaded soon, and the link available to anyone who wants it. And I'm actually going to have community member Harold Klotz. I'm looking for Harold. Yep, there he is. I'm going to unmute Harold because Harold is the one who has compiled the most information. Are you there, Harold?
I am.
Good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and find your email and put that up on the screen while you do this. I'm putting this in the subcommittee, golf course subcommittee portion of the meeting because it's pertinent to the golf course subcommittee and what we discussed last time. And nobody has done more work on this or knows more about this than Harold, I would venture to guess. So I'm gonna share, hang on a second. I gotta try and share this screen without sharing all my other tabs, all the weird. Okay, there we go. Share screen. I think that's it. Do people see Harold's discussion of 50-foot buffer up?
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right.
Harold, take it away.
Okay, so back in August, Jonathan Frankel presented a slideshow that said that the New Urban West was going to double the 15-foot area. And some things happened since then, including a release of a couple of new design guidelines versions. And what I found is that, I'll start at the top of my document here. The latest design guidelines do not double the 15-foot landscape zone. Eric, there's a one of the callers it's a phone number only. His keeps interrupting everybody.
Is that okay? Yeah, I've been trying to find where that's coming from. I see it. I see it. I got it.
Okay. So okay, yeah, that's good. The latest design guidelines do not double the 15-foot landscape zone. That was what that's what the outer perimeter of 15 feet is being called. So at the golf course subcommittee meeting, Jonathan Frankel withdrew his presentation. He said he misspoke and he used a new term, parking setback, to describe the 15 to 30-foot area that was going to be previously claimed as doubling the 15-foot area. So that is now to say that the only change is that no parking will be put in that area. Everything else, all other development-related uses will still be allowed. Roads, walls, arbors, whatever they want to put there. That's non-habitable. After some discussion in that meeting, he agreed to also exclude trash and recycle collection areas, also known as dumpster corrals. And he confirmed later by an email that that was going to happen. We do not have that modified design guidelines yet. Even without the parking and dumpsters, the intrusive elements of the new apartments and condos would be just 15 feet from our back fences. And at 50 feet, we'll be able to see the shadows of 3- and 4-story multifamily complexes. But there is still some hope because in the latest city review cycle report, there is a new issue that seems to try to return the 50-foot buffer zone to what most of us thought was the original promise. On page 2 of the latest cycle review, issue 139 says, permitted uses in the AR-1-1 zone shall be limited to passive recreational uses. Agricultural and residential uses are not permitted in the AR-1-1 zone. And this is put in by a person who has not previously spoke on this issue. So there is some hope. Of course, it all hinges on what is residential uses, what that includes. So, but at least we have something to pursue. That's it.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Harold, for that detailed analysis. And that is essentially what we had discussed at the subcommittee meeting last time. And okay, now I've lost, let me get back my participant. There we go. So does anybody have any comments, questions regarding the buffer issue? Last subcommittee meeting? Kurt, I'll unmute you. Go ahead.
So I guess whether it's walls, trellises, arbors, within that area, I think that would be considered a residential use. And I have from the beginning, and I even went back and I looked at, community meeting notes that were taken at the presentations at the clubhouse with New Urban West on October 22nd. And we talked about, having wider easements. We wanted wider easements. We wanted similar type homes, next to each other. And, per our position letter, nothing has changed. Jonathan, he gave us sort of a couple of crumbs at the last meeting talking about this buffer zone. And I'll tell you people, if you do not fight this buffer zone thing, we will definitely, as accurately as Harold described it, living in the shadows of these 3- and 4-story buildings. They will literally shove them up right up as close as they can. And you're going to have, people from the 3rd and 4th story looking right down into your bedroom windows. So, I mean, this is really got to be, we really got to paint a better picture, for our disapproval of this. And, I'm not sure, Jonathan's last meeting that he gave us, he showed some examples of how the buffer zones in Carmel Mountain Ranch work now. But he only took a couple of similar type communities. He never really took 2 opposing different, communities. Wherever you have different communities, you have a considerable amount of bonus areas or buffer areas, and that average between 60 and 75 feet. And this is even without a slope factor. This is going in. I went on Google Earth, and you can just, tour yourself around Carmel Mountain Ranch and see the buffer and the really thickened and real matured tree buffers that we have. We need a demand for these kind of things. We cannot sit still. And, Harold's been beating the drum slowly, but we need more people to beat the drum. And, I feel like what happened on Alante is, we needed more people involvement. And I don't think we had enough people involvement to turn the tide with the Planning Commission and the City Council. Brian did a great job of doing that presentation. And which brings to point that we need to come up with a presentation soon, because sooner we're going to be going before the Planning Commission as well. So that's my little diatribe.
Well, I agree with you, Kurt. And I think that unfortunately, it's very, very discouraging to attend the Planning Commission meetings. They're extremely dismissive of communities, and they have their mission and they have their orders or desires that came down, and they're not easily deterred from them. So this project has been pretty much unchanged from the minute that we were told on November 13th of 2019 that they were going to build 1,200 units and they were going to be all condos or apartments. And in fact, greater number of them apartments than condos. And all of the buffer comparisons are 1- and 2-story against 1- and 2-story. The only one that would be even close would be against the Jefferson, which is over the top of the hill from anybody else. And the same with Carmel Terrace and all the other apartment units. They are well separated. Our community has, I'm thinking it's over 300 feet in height difference from the bottom to the top. And pretty much everything has a height separation. I submitted a detailed map showing all the difficulties that the trails are going to encounter. And that went to Michael Prince, who's doing our community plan update for this project. So anyway, yeah, we need to get to it, but I'm not sure who we talk to.
So I had a question, Eric. Can I just quickly?
Yeah, go ahead quickly. We got more comments.
I know that, we did a position letter as a group and sent that to the city. And on this latest set of city comments that came through, I have not seen anything in regards to our position letter. I have not seen one iota of it mentioned in their review in terms of environmental landscape planning. It's, traffic. And I don't understand why that has not seen the light of day.
It's very discouraging. I mean, we obviously all put a lot of work into that, and it was delivered, and I was told that it's going to be in the staff report, and we all know what happens with stuff that we give them. It gets stuck at the very back of the 200-page staff report, and we've been summarily dismissed up to this point on it. And I hear you when you say that more people need to get involved and so on and so forth. However, we have been involved, and we've been attempting to be involved, and again have been summarily dismissed. And that is my concern, and I know that a lot of people share that concern, not just for Carmel Mountain Ranch, but as a city. San Diego has not given the time of day to its planning groups, and that concerns me as a person who's put hundreds of hours into community planning group here in Carmel Mountain Ranch, as all of you have as well. So it's, I think we're all preaching to the choir here, but in any event, John Chu has a comment, so let's let him get his comment in, and then Kurt, I'll come back to you.
All right, do you hear me, or do I sound like a chipmunk?
You sound great tonight, John.
So I thank Harold for all his work he's done so far, and buffers and all the nuances and details are extremely important. But I like to step back and look at the broader perspective, and we look at the city council recently approved the Three Roofs project in Mira Mesa, and it seemed like there was a lot of community involvement, and it was kind of a win-win scenario for everyone. And this project is like the antithesis. The New Urban West doesn't want to work with us. They are doing the minimum to parks and other improvements to our community. And as much as the details of that, I think the biggest change that we're going to see if they get this project approved in this current state and form, majority of the new housing they want to put in are apartments for rent. There are very little for sale housing for new residents that actually want to build a foundation in this community. 75% of Carmel Mountain units are for sale, or by owner, and that number of units will substantially change the character of our neighborhood. So we should be focusing first on the number of for sale units that are going to be in this complex, as well as the amount of affordable housing. In fact, they did not commit at all to a single affordable unit for sale. So no deed restricted units for sale were developed to large corporations or vacation rentals. That for the amount of impact we're going to have to our community and to the to all the residents that live next to the golf course, there should be a high number of affordable units, as well as for residents for sale here for permanent residents in our community, as opposed to just renters. So that is the biggest top two issues that I see with this project. Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, you're absolutely right. The number of for rent to sale is way out of whack. We told them that in our position letter, and I don't remember whether he said it in a subcommittee meeting or whether it was in one of our meetings, but I really do remember hearing New Urban West say that they were going to go back and take a look at the ratio, and then they came back with the minimal buffer changes, if you want to call them that, and nothing on the ratio of affordable or of rental to for sale. And then at the subcommittee meeting, we pressed him on the affordable issue, and we got a lot of, it's very expensive to build affordable units, et cetera, et cetera. So at this point, we've got, just like Alante, well, I don't want to be on my soapbox about this, but just like Alante, we're not solving any housing crisis by providing 15 or 100 affordable for rent places. We're not providing equity for young people coming up, or school teachers, or firefighters or nurses, where that we need them to be able to buy into the community and invest in Carmel Mountain Ranch. And this project is definitely throwing the balance way off. And sorry, John Schroeder had a comment or question. I'll stop talking. John?
Yes, sure. I also have to express my frustration briefly at the little to no community engagement that New Urban West has shown. For those that don't attend these meetings regularly, we've been trying all the time to get them to engage with us, to discuss things, to hear our concerns. For some reason, all we've gotten is a couple of crumbs, like Kurt mentioned, and then they took those crumbs back regarding the buffer. Jonathan said he misspoke and kind of walked that back, and we're left with really very little concession. Not sure why that is. Maybe they look at what happened with Alante and they feel good. That gives them confidence. I really don't know. But anyway, that's just the introduction to my question. I attended the Carmel Mountain Ranch Homeowners Association meeting last night, and there was a comment there. I see Alan Hahn is in our meeting tonight. There was it seems to just keep getting worse. New Urban West, they keep telling us a little more, little by little, that to me is bad news. Alan, I don't know if you'd be prepared to repeat the briefing that you gave yesterday at the Homeowners Association, but the portion that really caught my ear was there's an additional request now from New Urban West for one of the holes. I think maybe it's hole 12, where they're requesting additional zoning changes from agricultural to some form of residential zoning. Would you be so kind as to repeat that tonight, if you have your notes with you?
I'll unmute Alan. What's starting to happen here is we're starting to have a separate subcommittee meeting, which, okay, but let's keep it brief and move it along. Alan?
Yeah, what John is referring to is at the Homeowners Association meeting last night, I mentioned that in the latest submission by New Urban West to the city, in their land use and zoning table, they are now taking a unit 12, which used to be old number 12, and in their previous submissions was only open space. They have now newly added to that. They're requesting that be rezoned RS 1-13. In other words, residential single housing, and I think the city code, municipal code says 6,000 square foot lots. What's significant here is that the 1,200 units is not the end of it. They have now, in a stealthy manner, asked for an additional zoning change on Unit 12, where they have never asked for a zoning change to put housing on before. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to ask for housing now as part of this proposal. Right now, it looks like they're just asking for a zoning change. Once they get the zoning change, they can put the housing on very easily. The hard part is getting the zoning change. So that's new. Just to expand a little bit, and I mentioned this last night as well, there are two Trojan horses in this development proposal. The first Trojan horse was what I just mentioned, that they are now asking for a zoning change to permit housing in Unit 12. The other Trojan horse is Unit 14, the maintenance area. The maintenance area is already zoned RS 1-13, and it has been previously questioned. They have been previously questioned about it and had stated it's not part of the deal, and that the golf course owner is retaining the right to this land. So this is already zoned for housing, and in the opinion of many people, if they decide it was decided to be developed in the future, it would be asked to be for a rezone to put in multiple unit housing. So the point is that the 1200 is not the end. There's also this Unit 12 issue if they get the zoning change, and the Unit 14 is already zoned RS 1-13 and is not part of the deal. So it's 1200 plus the two Trojan horses. That concludes what I have to say about that.
Thank you for that, Alan. And okay, so Marnie Von Wilpert says she has a quick comment, and then Mark Clark has a comment or question. Go ahead, Marnie.
I wanted to comment on what John had said about the ability for people to buy units in the community and become homeowners, especially our police officers and our teachers and our nurses and our public servants. I completely hear you on that. And I talk to our police all the time who have to live in Riverside or in Temecula and drive in, or Carlsbad, because they can't afford to live here. And one thing the city did in the last fiscal budget, which we're going to have a big budget crunch this year, but was they put in $250,000 to do first-time homebuyer assistance for our police officers, because the down payment is the biggest problem. It's a huge barrier if you're in the public service to have $120,000 to buy your first home. Teachers can't afford that. And the private sector matched it. Wells Fargo and Bank of America each matched it. And we had over $500,000 fund to help police officers live in the communities they serve. So I think that's a really good point and things we can be asking for when we have new developments in our community. So thanks, John, for bringing that up.
Thank you. Yes, we brought that up at the Planning Commission and at the City Council regarding Alante, and it's been a thorn in our side. Mark, I gotta find Mark Clark. He was here a second ago. There he is. Mark?
Can you hear me?
Oh, you said you can skip my comment.
Yeah, no, I thought there might have been a long line, since it sounds like maybe I'm the last one. I guess my quick question, and just to be thinking about, is what do we do next as a group, as a committee? It's everybody talks about the frustration. Look at what happened with the other project, feeling like we're getting ignored. I know that there's a large change on the council, and so that maybe gives us a little bit of renewed life, that these people will actually care about the communities that they're supposed to be representing. And I agree too. I've done a lot of research on the whole housing crisis, and probably not nearly as much as Brian has, with regards to the amount of apartments that are for sale, the amount of new homes that are, quote unquote affordable, which is a relative term here in San Diego. And there aren't, right? There, one of the comments that Jonathan made on one of my questions was, hey, how come there isn't like a little bit more diversity in this housing? How come, right? And he mentioned that, oh, well, San Diego is a big community, as a city. And so there are other housing projects that are homes for sale, or condos for sale. And, this project needs apartments. And I'm going to just call, BS on that, because it's not true. There's plenty of apartments throughout the entire city of San Diego. If you look at the occupancy rate, or the vacancy rate, right now, our vacancy rate, and even into last year when the economy was great, was well within the range that they said was a healthy range for a city of like San Diego. a healthy range of our vacancy. It's not like there's a 1 or 2% vacancy. It was darn near 5%. Now it's darn near 6% from apartments. So that's a false narrative. And we need to call them on this. We need, because the things that they're saying, the things that Jonathan's saying, they're just not true. If you try to go find a new home construction or, quote unquote, affordable homes in San Diego that that are being constructed or whatever, there's not that many of them. There really isn't. And so this idea that, oh, well, this community gets the 1,200 apartments, right? And the community 20 miles down the road, they'll build the smaller affordable housing for the new people. It's not true. It's a false narrative. But with all that being said, we're getting ignored no matter what. And so my question, Eric, and to everybody, like, how do we make sure that we're actually heard and considered? What is there any recourse? Is there anything we can do to actually take action to be heard and have these people, these elected officials that we elect, actually care what the hell we say?
Well, like Curtis said in the chat, we get to call them on this stuff in our 1 to 2 minute comment that we get at the Planning Commission and the City Council. I mean, it's we send letters, people send petitions. It's discouraging, and we're not going to solve it here tonight. So we do have to move the discussion along. And I obviously stand with all of you and your concerns and your comments, and yeah, lawsuits. We don't have that option as a community planning group. Anyway, let's move it along, as we're not going to get to the solution to this tonight, and we can have another golf course subcommittee meeting later this month and talk about how we do more to be heard. I honestly, I don't want to be negative, but I honestly don't know how we could do more than we've already done as a community planning group. We are somewhat limited in our scope, and I believe that we've probably even exceeded that with some of the annual report that I did last year and the 9-page letter. Not that we're overstepping, but we're doing as much as any other community planning group is doing in terms of trying to become heard on this issue. And yeah, they're kind of ramming it down our throats. I don't know what else to say about it. So let's go to the next the next topic, which is the Alante subcommittee report. And I think this is going to be the last one on Alante in terms of a subcommittee report from Brian, but he'll wrap up what happened there. And as this has already been voted on and pretty much a done deal, I don't see that we're going to have a need for a lot of discussion, but Brian, I'm asking you to unmute. Brian, are you there?
I'm here. But
okay, cool.
There we go. Okay, there's the unmute.
Take it away.
All right. So yeah, as Mark Schaefer stated near the beginning of the meeting, the majority of the city council ignored the community and went ahead and did the favor to Sandstrom by giving him his retirement gift. So selling of well-used parking garage for $600,000 to put in 50 units at an average of $200,000 or $2,000 a month is a nice $1.2 million a year. Not a bad deal. So yeah, this will, I believe, be our last subcommittee update on this since it's done. The sale hasn't closed. So if you actually go and look at the records, it hasn't closed. I'm not certain if I think the general plan is only updated like once or twice a year. So all the community plan amendments are all kind of rolled together to make one big update. So I don't know if there's a lag there that happens. But at the end of the day, unless some private party comes along and wants to try to sue the city, for whatever reason, there's nothing that this committee can do. So I thought what I'd do is I would take this time to share with the rest of the group letter that I wrote to council right after the hearing. So let's see if you can you allow me to share, or you have to make me a host, don't you?
Do you want to email it to me real quick, and can you do that? I'll just put it up on the screen. I mean, I can make you host as well, either way.
Quicker if you make me host, I'll just make you host.
All right, fine.
Okay.
Fine, no problem. Make host.
My turn.
You're the man.
All right, I'm host.
Person.
Okay, enjoy. All right, here we go. So I put it on the screen, so if anybody wants to screenshot it or follow along, they can. So first of all, I wanted to thank council members Kersey and Bree for recognizing some of the practical challenges with the Alante project and voting no. We all know that parking will be a challenge in this location because it is not really walkable and the bus options are extremely limited. Everybody here knows that there's 2 buses that go downtown. One of those only goes 5 times a day in each direction, and then the other one goes down Poway Road to Walmart. So this is not really a mass transit station, yet the state bill that defines a transit station has made it one because it has that 1 bus route. The definition used to be 2 intersecting major routes, and that got changed at the beginning of the year. So the state bill is really stacked against us when it comes to this transit priority area. And speaking to Marnie, I've brought this up with the other candidates for office as well, is both the CMR and the RB transit stations are not trolley stops, right? We would love to see those designations removed because they're causing unnatural development to occur. For example, there's so many density bonuses that occur because of the proximity. Even though it's a half-mile walk from the this site location to the parking garage, from the Alante project to the park and ride, it's a 1/4 mile by line of sight. So this whole line of sight thing versus actual distance of somebody walking or driving gets abused. There's a school across the freeway. Yeah, Los Pin. How long does it actually take you to drive around to get there? You're not gonna take a helicopter over the freeway. So anyway, I always tangent when I get on these things. So I wanted to thank those council, the bus options. Also, there's another project happening over on Black Mountain in the 4S side, right? There's a lot of new development there that kind of goes unchallenged. This one was a piece of property that somebody bought like back in the 50s or 60s. And, there's like an arsenic mine that's up there in Black Mountain. And then they've been slowly chipping away at it. And this Avion project by Lennar is chipping away another 40 acres of this multi-habitat planning area. And those homes off Wine Creek, those are about $1.5 million plus. And they're about 85 homes, I think it is, 84, 85 homes. And they're gonna offset those with some multifamily residential closer to what they call the town center, where closer to the shopping center and the high school that's over there. So, new construction for people who can afford $1.5 million home, right, for sale. Everybody else is in a rental, which is a profit center for the developer and the management company. So, Chris Ward spoke up against the fire risk. He also spoke up against the 55-foot retaining wall that was needed for that project to make it happen. So at least one person stood up for reality. Meanwhile, everybody else just said, sure, Lennar, build away. We need all kinds of housing. So, fire risk is huge. Scripps Ranch, Penasquitos, Rancho Bernardo, we've all been through these fires. I'm a lifelong San Diegan. My parents, I lived actually out in Temecula, Riverside County. My parents had to be evacuated in 2003 and 2007 to my house. And my sister's family had to be evacuated from Escondido to my house. So when we lived up there for 10 years. So I know what it's like to live somewhere else, have to save up money to move back to San Diego. That's what I did. And we get the fire thing. And there's the whole PQ golf course thing, which has my parents live one way in and one way out. So, thankful that at least one council member stood up for the fire risk and started to stand up a little bit for the protected space. Second, not one council member even acknowledged the public input during the hearing. You know, Mark made the motion around the parking, right? You know, that was it. There were hundreds of letters that were sent. There were hundreds of petition signatures. There was public comment, people on the phone, which is very rough when you're dealing with this whole pandemic and you're trying to do a testimony with a 30-second delay. And you have people who are given 1 minute to 2 minutes to make their position known. So the way that these projects are being heard is extremely frustrating. So nobody acknowledged it. And some council members were getting up during the meeting, because you can watch them on the video, and it's like they're just waiting for their turn to vote and waiting for the meeting to end. So, you know, we pour our hearts and souls into these community planning groups. To be completely ignored hurts, obviously, as we've all expressed a lot of frustration. And now Carmel Mountain Ranch will have a 70-foot plus reminder of the fact that the city council has completely ignored the facts around this situation. We were willing to compromise by dropping a floor, which still would have been 60 feet, still completely out of place, but at least it was a compromise that nobody had any interest in considering. So, you know, there's the statement here, and I know I'm getting a little long-winded. You can read the screen straight out of the CPG website about the purpose of citizen involvement. And there's been a systematic approach to disable that within the city and also at the state level. So, you know, there are smarter ways to go about adding affordable inventory without removing functional city assets like the park and ride. Everybody here knows that the Park and Rec Center is right across the street. That gets very busy, especially in the summertime when there's sports and normal conditions. And when there's other events like movies in the park, right? We will return back to reality at some point. And there are Pacific villages going in across the street from Lennar, right, who destroyed an entire affordable housing community to put in a few token affordable units in that new development. There's more people will be using that park, and we're going to need more parking, and that's going to be a huge concern. So as a community, we've basically said, if we're going to build in this community, build where it makes sense, which is in the town center where density belongs, near Ralph's, near Costco, near all these places where you have these big parking lots where you can build proper mixed use development that is pedestrian friendly, is compatible with the City of Villages strategy. That's the message we were trying to send for 2 years regarding this project. And then, you know, looking at rents in general, right? San Francisco is mass exodus out of that city. New York is the same thing, but San Francisco is closer to us because people live there long enough to make, you know, do the job for 2 to 4 years, get the experience and get out of the city. There's literally buildings that are sinking into the ground because they're trying to build so dense there. I lived in the city for 3 years in the city and 1 year out of the city. And then I used to go to Santa Clara every other week until the shutdown. And it's just so dense, so miserable, and it takes people an hour to go 10 minutes. I don't want to live there. That's why I came back to San Diego. So, you know, we need to be realistic. And the part that we talked about, the for rent versus for sale, a home just went up for sale on my street, $930,000, and it's now a rental. So, you know, the homes that are going for sale are being bought by investors and turned into more rentals because that's a profit center for the investor. It doesn't. So what we're asking for in any new development is for sale, which is possible to do a deed restricted for sale. For rent, you throw a few token units in there, they're offset by everybody else. Doesn't really do anything to address the bigger picture of affordable housing. So it's a battle cry, and this is, you know, there's a lot of folks from the YIMBY group in particular. There were a few other groups from, I think it's Circulate San Diego, that were calling into these meetings in both the Planning Commission and the City Council, making false claims about this site, right? About the transit opportunities that are here, about the affordable impact that's here. And it just quite frankly isn't true, right? These are just talking points that they use. If you read the minutes from other hearings, it's the same talking points. So groups like that are not really doing a service to affordable housing. The groups that are, you know, funded by the builders, if you look up the funding behind YIMBY and some of these others, it's a company, it's a organization out of Oakland, right? Started with good intentions and it immediately got polluted by folks like Lennar and other of these developers who are using that as the battle cry to try and get any project through. And it's happening. The state bills are getting written to allow unnatural things. We're having city council members voting for unnatural things. So I expressed my concern in this letter that I wrote at the end of the meeting, and I embellished more during my time here. And the one last thing I did want to bring up was, what is it going to take for people to, for the city council members to listen? And let's see if it's, I think it's this one here. According to New Urban West, it's going to take you about $25,000, right? So this is how things are done in this city. If we look here at Scott Sandstrom, you know, they hosted a fundraiser here for Scott Sherman back in January. So this is how things get done. Is it ethical? I don't think so, but that's just the way that the rules are written by the people who are getting the money. So I didn't bring this up during the hearings because I was hoping not to uncover folks, but you know, this is the campaign contributions that are happening to the different people. These are the ones made by Sandstrom. These are the ones made by Frankel. You know, these are the New Urban West. This is all open, you know, net file. At the end of the day, we have one city council member representing us, and there's many city council members that vote on these projects. We need to talk to all of them, and we can't do it in 2 minutes of public hearing where they've already made up their mind. People in the community need to schedule one-on-one meetings with the city council members, share these letters that the community works on, share the hard facts about what's wrong with these projects, what we really want in this community. And that's the only way it's going to happen. You know, as I mentioned, there's an assault on the community planning groups, not just in ours, but 80% of projects that are recommended to be denied by the local communities are approved anyway. So that is how we, as a community, not necessarily as a CPG, need to be heard. So thanks for the soapbox. I will stop now.
Can you? Yes, Brian. If we were in the rec center room right now, I'm sure that would garner a standing ovation. I can't express how much I myself personally and the rest of us appreciate all of the work that you did as the subcommittee chairman for the Alante issue. We could not have asked for a better representative in that situation. I don't know what else I can say other than thank you. And so thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I tried.
I know you did. We all did, and I can't say any more without becoming. You guys know I get emotional about these things, and you know it did. I was hurt, you know, at the planning commission hearing by, you know, hearing the YIMBY people call in and define us as a community, say that we weren't embracing diversity. You know, there was just all of these things. And I mean, I'm looking at my board and I see a fairly diverse panel. I look at my community and I see a lot of diversity. I don't see a lot of exclusionary, you know, uptight people. And that's what we were painted as. And that's really what, beyond just not being listened to, you're not listened to, and then you're kicked in the teeth. That just, you know, I can't say anymore because it'll turn into my soapbox. And, you know, I am, you know, I'm passionate about this stuff as well. And we did what we could. So thank you. And can you return the hosting?
I did, yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you. I think it would probably be appropriate. I don't know if we need to vote to dissolve the subcommittee or if it just kind of goes away. I don't know if we need to make that official or not.
No, you don't have to vote it.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's over. And there's lots, Brian, you should read the chat comments. A lot of people are giving you props, and you deserve it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Okay, so CMR United, Troy had an emergency at his home this evening and was not able to attend. It's some sort of plumbing issue. And so we're 15 minutes from the end here, and it's time for the chair's report. I'll be brief as I can. I attended the CPC meeting, which is where all of the community planning group chairs gather and talk. And this past month, the main things that came out of that meeting were I believe we voted to write a letter to request. We voted to write a letter to City Council requesting some sort of street vending ordinance because the OB Ocean Beach Community Planning Group chair was there and very concerned about unpermitted street vending occurring in Ocean Beach, and the photos that she shared were disturbing, especially in light of COVID and just the unrestrained circus that looked like was going on there. So we voted to send a letter to City Council on that. I'm gonna look at the agenda to remind myself what else happened there, because it seems like it was 3 years ago. I think it was just 3 weeks ago. Yeah, street vending ordinance. We formed a subcommittee on affordable housing, which somehow I volunteered for. I was swept up in the moment and volunteered for more stuff. And I'm looking at, I know there was proposed, we talked a lot at that meeting about the signage that goes on these proposed projects. If you guys recall, if you folks recall when the Trails project was noticed publicly at these 8.5 by 11 sheets that got tacked to telephone poles or whatever and wound up in the street, we would like, we as a group voted that we would like to see larger signs required. And I noticed in Poway, I was driving through Poway the other day, and when there's a proposed project in Poway, there's a big sign. And so that was something that we talked about. And frankly, I can't remember what else happened at that meeting. There was always a lot going on at those, and they're public meetings just like these. And if you guys ever want to attend, it's the 4th Tuesday of every month. And usually either I or Esther sit through those and say what Carmel Mountain Ranch has to say about any of it. So that's that. And as far as anything else on the chair's report, I think it's been covered here very well. Yes, yeah, right. Mark Schaefer points out the street vending was deregulated in a recent legislation by the state, and that's causing a problem. Okay, I believe we are out of items. We don't have any old business or new business or action items to deal with this evening. Our next meeting of this group will be November 11th at 6:30, and golf course subcommittee meeting as needed. I will get with everybody involved and see if we need to do another one of those this month, or if we're just going to wait until after the election to see how things land. And Marnie, thank you for being here and listening to all this tonight. We appreciate it. And unless anybody has anything else, I think that's the end.
Real quick, Eric, if you could make me host again, I can share my screen and show people how to do this search. So I don't have to repeat myself over and over.
Okay.
Okay, there we go. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Okay, am I sharing the wrong screen?
Yep.
Right.
You were.
I had the wrong screen up.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. I hope. Which screen am I sharing?
Advanced search for transaction data.
Perfect. Okay, so this is the URL. All I do, sorry, go back. This is the URL. So literally, if you just search for San Diego Netfile, Netfile is the service that most of the cities and counties and states use to look at donation data, or whatever you call it, contribution data. Go here to advanced search and put in the transaction name, put in the person that you want to search for. So, search for Frankel and search, and it'll give you, it's for all time, or at least for going back to at least 2008. So, Jonathan hasn't been involved as long as Scott, right? Scott's been at this for his 83 items worth.
Wow.
And you can export these to Excel. This goes all the way back to like 2008 or something for his records. So that's basically all you need to do, is just go to that site, and you can look up anybody if you want to look who, look up anything. That's it. That's my lesson.
Thank you. It's eye-opening, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm gonna remake you host.
Thank you. All right, all right, folks. Let's adjourn for tonight. Let's enjoy.
You want to give Marnie a closing? Sorry.
I'm sorry.
Were you giving Marnie a closing, or did I miss that?
She wanted to speak. I'm sorry.
Hey, if it's okay, I want to thank you all for having me tonight. And I learned a lot, and I hear you on not being heard by the council, and I'm sorry that that's the experience you're having, because you're giving a lot of time to try and make your community a better place. Also, just no matter how this election goes, and if I win, if Joe wins, even if anyone didn't support me in the race, that's okay. I don't take these things personally. This is not about me. This is about good governance. And know that I will be here to listen to you no matter what, no matter whose yard sign you had in your yard. So just please know I am totally approachable, and I really do want to hear from you. And no matter what happens, I'm here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, guys, let's adjourn, and let's all go enjoy our dinner, our families, the rest of Wednesday evening, and enjoy the rest of your week and the rest of October. And we'll see you again soon enough. Live long and prosper.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Bye.